Hey, church. So I'm going to continue reading here in the book of Matthew 27. Now, it was the governor's custom each year during the Passover celebration to release one prisoner to the crowd, anyone they wanted. This year, there was a notorious prisoner, a man named Barabbas. As the crowd gathered before Pilate's house that morning, he asked them, "Which one do you want me to release to you, Barabbas or Jesus, who was called the Messiah?" He knew very well that the religious leader had arrested Jesus out of envy. Just then, as Pilate was sitting on the seat of judgment, his wife sent him this message: "Leave that innocent man alone. I suffered through a terrible nightmare about him last night." Meanwhile, the leading priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas and for Jesus to be put to death. So the governor asked again, "Which of these two do you want me to release to you?" And the crowd shouted back, "Barabbas." Now, a couple things I want us to see here as we notice that even the foreign governing ruler knew that there was opposition to Jesus by the religious leaders. So this was not an unknown thought or idea throughout the community. The second thing we notice is that Pilate himself was warned by God, don't have anything to do with this, which is, we know why later he washed his hands in a symbolic way, acting as if he was no part of it, even though he was. And then we look at the crowd, and we hear the crowd knowing, no doubt about it, the reason that the leaders wanted to take Jesus out. And we also know this is the crowd that was part of the celebration of the miracles, and a week before we're crying out, Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. But in the emotion of a moment, in a crowd, in a persuasive way, as people begin to swell against a movement of Jesus, people are convinced and just join in. Now, I say this because in our culture, we've watched emotional movements begin where people do things that they would never do on their own or make their own decision to, do some of the horrific things that have been done in our culture lately. And so I just want, I guess I should say more than, it's not just that I want. I believe the scriptures are teaching us something, and I believe in this moment, the devotional that God is asking me to share with us, to be careful not to be swayed by the crowd. Let's know what we know, believe what we believe, and not follow the emotion of a crowd in the moment. We don't want Barabbas. We want Jesus. Let's be his church.